Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Señor Nerd Podcast. I have here with me Raul,
Howdy.
Ramon,
Hey guys.
and we're here to talk about episode 10 of Demon Slayer, Swordsmith Village Arc. And man, this episode was so freaking good. This is the episode that I'm going to call the love episode. And obviously there's reason why I'm going to be calling it that from now on. But it was so good, man. Even the fact that they had another flashback didn't even bother me at all. Who wants to start this up? Ramon, why don't you tell us what made this episode so great, man?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me why it's a love episode. I mean,
I know why it's the love episode.
because we're in love with Mitsuri. Yeah. No, I mean, I really enjoyed this episode. I think, last episode we were a little doubtful. I even said, oh man, guys, check out the title of this coming episode. It's making me nervous, right? It might be a whole flashback episode. And no, I mean, we did have a little bit of a flashback. But like you said, it was really insignificant, or not insignificant, very significant, but very short, very sweet to the spot. It was beautiful to stare at. It was a great episode. Lots of flashing lights, lots of Mitsuri, lots of the love Hashira. So it was great. Enjoyed it all the way through. Excited to talk about
it. No, definitely. Ro, what was your initial thoughts on it?
I didn't know kind of how it was gonna go, and then I know everyone's kind of tired of all the flashbacks, and then they were gonna do one, but I thought it was gonna be a different flashback. But it was interesting to see, and it kind of makes a little bit more sense now in the context of things. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like Demon Slayer's the flashback anime.
I mean, this season has definitely been nothing but flashbacks, man. From somebody who's doing like a rewatch of Jujutsu Kaisen, like there's almost no flashbacks in that whole freaking like first season. So it's like, and I know Demon Slayer, has done flashbacks in the past, but it's never been to this level, man. So like, but again, this one didn't bother me, man. Like I knew we were going to be getting a great episode when, in the beginning, the upper four moon was like, hey, shut up, you shameless tramp. I'm like, holy shit, dude. I was just as shocked as her. Like, I'm like, oh my God, he did not just call this like beautiful young lady a tramp. I'm like, holy shit, like this thing's going to elevate to a different level.
Oh, that was definitely the sentencing thing, man. That's what really pissed her off because again, same thing too. When he called her that, I was like, oh, hell no, she didn't. And then obviously she didn't, yeah.
It's kind of like calling Hancock an asshole.
Well, what I was going to say, Ramon, I challenge you to, like, out of context, just tell your wife, like, shut up, you shameless tramp, and see what happens to you.
You act like you don't know my wife. You won't see me again, ever again.
The man formerly known as Ramon.
The man.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, man. No more Ramon.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, guys, if any of you are, like, out there, in the dating pool, like, the last thing you want to do is call your lady friend or whatever significant other a tramp, because things that will never go well.
And for no reason, though. Dude doesn't even know her. Like, dude, I mean, obviously, maybe on the whole skimpier outfit, but I think ultimately it's nothing crazy. So the fact that he called her that out of nowhere, out of context, dude, screw that guy.
Maybe he's just a misogynist kid.
He is a kid, right? Or like later in the scene or later in the episode, she's talking about how he's just as small and as young looking as her brother. So, maybe he's just as immature, just really badass and angry. So,
yeah,
he's probably like several hundred years old.
Yeah. I mean, it took her a while to get here, man. Like, which lady, it's never late. Like, you know how it is. You're going out, your lady's like, hey, I need to get ready. And, next thing you know, it's like hours pass by before you can even walk out the house. It's like this, obviously she took her time, but, just like our ladies in our lives, like once she was done and ready and showed up, it's like, oh my God, like what an impression did this like woman make on me. And I'm going to call her a woman because I assume that she's over 18. She must be like 20, 21. And dude, she just came in, she freaking helped Tanjiro. Then she's like, hey, I'm gonna save Genya and Nezuko, like I'm gonna go off, like rescue them. And it just like this episode started in all the right notes, man.
Well, yeah, I mean it started. Go ahead, Ro.
Oh no, yeah, with the age thing too. At 17 was when she was rejected or whatever for her marriage, and that's even way before she even went like with the dark hair and then tried to get married again, and before she even went to become a demon slayer anyway. So I honestly I think she's way more than like she's probably at least mid-20s at this point.
I know we all want to obsess over her longer, but you know, no, I mean, so yeah. I mean, so how the episode then finally goes after that, it's like right, like the freaking fourth upper moon goes in and does that crazy giant attack. And it was like a crazy cry of thunder death, right? Crazy impactful name. And then she all of a sudden does her freaking love breathing third form. Yeah, her cat claw, which I was going to say something about that. We'll got to talk about that too. But she does her whole freaking third form attack and completely like blocks slashes through that whole giant attack that the fourth demon was going to do. So right off the back, right? Like we already seen her a little bit in action, but it was mostly her whipping her whip sword around. And I think this was like something substantial, right? Because so far, Tanjiro, Nezuko, like Genya, everybody's been getting the butts kind of kicked around by freaking the fourth upper moon. And her, like nothing, just kind of whips that attack out of like freaking existence. So even I think he right away was very like shocked by that because the whole attack just gone.
Dude, something that I liked about it is like she attacks in a way where like you might not even see all the different strokes that she did, but then all of a sudden like give it a second or two and like so many cuts happen out of nowhere and you're like, oh my god, like when I saw her she just went like this, like really quick, and then all of a sudden like so many things are being cut up in multiple different angles. It's like so fucking cool though. Like you know, my man Tengen, like I like this weapon, but this one though, this was on another level, man. Like this one's super, super cool.
But yeah, but what is it with the moves, guys? Because after that, I think they were kind of fighting back and forth. She does 2 more attacks. She does her second form and her sixth form, and the sixth form was called Cat-Legged Winds of Love. And again, with that cat one, I think there's still one more. I think one of them was like something about like Wild Claw. So like, I mean, they did show her in the past with some kitty cats. Is that what it is? That she just loves kitty cats so much?
I don't know, man. I don't know if like cats is a symbol of love because I particularly don't think of cats when I think of like love. Maybe Hello Kitty. That's the only thing that maybe could come to my head, but I don't think about like cat representing love.
Yeah, I mean, and I definitely don't want to diss cat lovers because I mean, I do like cats. I just think they're gonna kind of attack me in the middle of the night, but I do appreciate her love for cats. Yeah, I do appreciate her love for cats, and you know, I don't know, but the show continues like that, right? It's like the whole beginning, first few minutes are back and forth between them two just fighting, right? He's throwing thing after thing after thing at her, and she's just doing like form after form, and everything's just being rejected or sliced or just.
I don't know if you've seen like because you were just talking about like all the different forms. Have you seen that meme where it's like third form, and it's like let's just be friends, and it's like it cracks the fuck out of me because I feel like all my life that's the attack that got, you know, like every girl was throwing at me. They were all like it's like third form, let's just be friends, and I'm like oh my god.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and then when she was doing that, she was like killing it, and then I was actually kind of wondering like, oh no, are they gonna do the same thing that they did with the fifth upper demon, whatever? And then she gets close, and then she wraps her sword around his head, and then you as the person that's watching, you're like, oh no, this isn't the real head. Like the scared one is the real body or whatever, and you hear monologuing in her head, thinking like, okay, I just gotta do this because you see him kind of coming up on the mouth weapon thing, the sound thing that he's gonna do, and then Tanjiro's running like, oh no, he's kind of thinking the same thing that we're thinking.
Well, dude, Tanjiro totally 100% fucked her up because she was doing this attack, and even though we all know it was not gonna work, it was not gonna be like a perfect kill. She was so confident, like even though this demon's about to attack me, if I can decapitate him, it's not gonna matter. And if she had decapitated him, he was not gonna die, but the attack itself wouldn't have like, you know, it would not have hit her. So the idea that Tanjiro distracted her and she had to like change her strategy, I think that obviously like honestly screwed her up big time. So I kind of blame Tanjiro for even opening his big mouth during that moment.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, and the other thing that got me big during that scene, you see Tanjiro running. Wasn't his foot just like completely crushed in the previous episode?
Dude, everybody's confused about that foot animation. It's like we all saw his foot like get completely like mangled, flat. Yeah,
it's a paper.
It's freaking crap.
It's a paper.
So just the idea that like as soon as he got hit by that, and he keeps continuing to like walk around, like run. It's like now, you know, like especially like guys, like, I'm starting to remember how this shit's gonna end. Like, I'm gonna be calling bullshit on the next episode because, like, I'm like, he should only be like limping. He should be like running around in 1 foot. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of pissing me off.
No, and it's not the first time. I mean, but unlike Nezuko and Genya, they have real excuses, right? Like, yeah, I was still a little disappointed that we never saw Genya. What's up?
No, are you guys happy?
Oh yeah, that we finally got an explanation. Yeah. But we still don't know how he got his power. Like, I mean, I would love to eventually find out how he got his power, but I did appreciate that he did definitely say it out loud, like what his power is. Pretty crazy.
Honestly, man, like, I don't know if it's like, you know, any human can just eat a demon and gain those abilities, or maybe he does have something from inherited from his mom or whatever in his family ancestry. But I don't know, man. I feel like from what I can remember or recall, or I don't even think they're ever going to really answer that question. I think it's just a matter of like, this is something you shouldn't be doing because more than likely it's going to have some negative effects. So I think he just kind of like figured it out. Like, hey, if I eat demons, I can regenerate or gain some of their power. But I was just really happy for you. The moment they said that, I'm like, I was so happy for like, not just like you and Raul, but like, you know, the listeners. I'm like, oh, thank you. You guys finally got like some kind of an answer for that.
Which, I mean, I guess we're talking about it, but yeah, he basically says it like, and then it's obviously towards the end, and he's like about to bite down on this dragon, wooden dragon, and he does say it like, he's like, oh no, basically by biting or like eating the flesh of a demon, I gained the powers of demons, I guess.
Temporarily or something he said.
Temporarily. Yeah. But like, you're right. Like, I mean, if you say that there's no explanation more than that, or at least they never really show it, or like in the manga they actually displayed it, then to one point it's like, maybe he just figured it out. Maybe he was like in a fight with the demon one day, and then demon goes to do something, and he just goes, you know what, I have nothing to lose, and you know, maybe wrapped around his hand or something, just bites him, and then the next thing you know, he has like superhuman strength. Like, but it's pretty cool to go
because, because if you notice, like, that's the way that Mugen or whatever his name is, that's the way that he like powers up other demons. He gives them his blood. Muzan, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the way that he powers them up. He gives them some of his blood. So I wonder if that's kind of the same thing, that by eating or biting out of demons, he kind of gains their power, because there is power within being a demon, or whether it's in their blood or flesh or something like that. So I wonder if it's related to that.
Well, we've never seen Muzan or anybody actually transform a human into a demon. So, like, even I still have questions about that, like how it works. So, like, you know, you would think it's like you got to ingest Muzan's blood, so you got to ingest a particular part of his body. So it's interesting, man. I like the way that, you know, like I'm just thinking like long term they have to explain some of this. Like, we have to get a scene of how Muzan's turning some of these demons, especially the upper moons. So like, I want to see some of that. Some of these like question mark things are definitely going to hopefully be
a lot of question mark things. But I mean, at least with Genya, that was good to find out, and it's just replaying some of his fights, at least with the fourth upper moon in the different forms. Like, it makes more sense, right? Like, you know, he's fighting, he knows what he needs to do, just take a little nibble, and hey, you're back, you're repowered, you're ready to go again. But yeah, so anyways, to see, at least we have an explanation for him.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, because I mean, if you think about it, even if he was doing this ability in the past, he's never before eaten an upper moon. So he probably even got so much more powerful that he probably was like, holy shit, like, I've been eating demons and gotten like some kind of boost from them, but like just eating this upper 4 has made me regenerate, have super strength. You know, it's almost like I could see an addiction coming out of this. Like, oh shit, like now all of a sudden, like I'm a demon slayer, not necessarily because I'm trying to like get rid of all of them. I just want to keep collecting body parts because I can maybe myself become more of a demon, or maybe we're heading in that direction where Genya becomes addicted and then he wants to become a demon. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting.
That starts a whole like different. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Harold.
No, well, two things. So remind me if this is right or not, because I might be misremembering. Was Muzan the one that converted or transformed Nezuko? And killed his family?
But we've never seen it happen. To all of our understandings, he didn't do that purposely. He just went in there to kill the family, and she so happened to survive. But we don't know if it's like a werewolf situation. Like the moment you get scratched, like you're going to become a demon. Like we just don't know any of this.
Okay, yeah, but it was Muzan, right?
Yeah, it was. Because he was like...
So go ahead. Yeah, so I wonder if that's why Nezuko is so strong, because it was Muzan himself that did it. But I don't know if he creates every demon or what it is, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of like, you know, really thinking about those two people in particular, like Nezuko and Genya, right? Because like Nezuko doesn't have the option. She got turned into a demon. She's basically stuck that way. And obviously the whole point of this show is for Tanjiro trying to get Nezuko back to human form. But with someone like Genya, right? Like at this point, he's choosing to become demon form for a little bit. Like, to what point is that still like a safe thing? Like, you know what? We know a little bit about his character. We know about like who he is and how he's gotten, or why he's gotten the way he's gotten. And it just makes me think, I'm like, there has to be a point that he might be like overly, well, I guess maybe desiring more power. And obviously we don't see it. It's just kind of something fun to think about, you know, like think of like other people, like perhaps like vampires, like Blade, right? Like Blade is vampire. And, you know, he knows that with the whole consumption of blood or just being able to have that under control, like he remains powerful. He doesn't really want to get rid of it. Or I don't even remember if he can at that point, but it's just, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. Like, will Genya ever deal with that struggle of like, oh my God, I love this. Let me just become a demon full time.
So, dude, so all of a sudden, this, like, our podcast is going to become a betting place, because last episode we made a bet. And what if we made a bet this one? It's like, will Genya ever be able to somehow get a piece of Muzan, eat Muzan's, like, body and become, like, freaking incredible? Like, I almost wonder if that was ever going to happen. But dude, let's take it back, man. I want one of you to like tell me to describe this flashback, or even before. Like, I mean, I don't know. Should we talk about the flashback scene with, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, that's where we're basically at. We were just saying the whole fact, like, unlike freaking Genya and Nezuko, who have demon powers to some degree, we still don't know why Tanjiro, like, foot is back to normal, just like nothing. But yeah, anyway, so that's literally what happens at the end, right? I think, like Raul was trying to say, is the fourth upper moon hits Mitsuri with the compressed sound waves, and at that point, like, regardless whether Tanjiro messed that move up, because he did, I totally agree, like, he totally distracted her. Like you said, maybe she wouldn't have killed him, but it definitely would have been decapitated for a few seconds or something, you know, like it would have given him more time to like react. But anyway, so from there, it just kind of sets the flashback. But even at that point, like, he just notices that she survives, right? Before the flashback starts, he notices she survives the attack. At this point, her eyes are like rolled back, white, just kind of sitting there, like, almost like freaking Tanjiro at the end of like the last season, where he's just kind of sitting there, like, you know, in shock. And then you start this beautiful flashback, or actually not beautiful, because it starts with the rejection.
Was it the upper four was under the impression, or he was so shocked that her body didn't just explode into multiple pieces? He's like, how is this human still in this shape? And he mentions like her muscle proportions don't match like her body type. So that's just so interesting, because like that's the whole questions I have about her when we do see that background story. It's like, man, how is this little girl so strong? Like how? Like, because we get to meet the parents, and like the parents, like, I mean, I don't see where the DNA came from in that.
So this is making me think like a kind of My Hero Academia, like, you know, the whole idea of like there is some genes that are out there that perhaps you don't know about, because this is already like, again, Genya, if we don't have a full explanation, we don't know why he has that ability, or whether every human has it. You could just go chomp on a freaking demon and you could be demon. But it's like with her too, like, yeah, so the flashback starts with her getting rejected, right? The guy saying it's like, oh, I just can't see myself being with someone with hair like you. I don't want those genetics. I don't want my kids with that hair color. Total stupid rejection, because like, come on, look at her, like really, your hair color, like, what a jerk.
Dude, he went beyond that, and he said only a bear, a boar, or a cow would mate with you. I know. Oh my god, dude. Well, tell that to your wife.
Again, you're just trying to get me in trouble, man. You're just trying to get me in trouble. You met Mitsuri. She's Kiara can like throw some punches, man. But no, I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. But that's a like, you know, again, we're sitting here, we're big fanboys, right? I can totally just drool and kind of be a little in love with her, with the love Hashira. But yeah, like that whole harsh rejection was just really tough to see in the beginning, because you're like, I don't get it. But then, you know, the more that we know of her story, it's just clearly guys and that age are super intimidated by not only beauty, but then clearly strength. So a woman can't be strong without them being like, oh, I don't want to marry you because, oh my God, like, I'm a weakling. And it's just stupid.
Can I tell you my theory about like life in general? Bro,
no, you
bro,
can't.
please,
not that kind
allow
of
me.
not kind of that podcast, Cardinals. Not that kind of podcast.
Go for it. Go for it.
No, the only thing I was gonna say, like in life, I feel like a lot of people, like for example, like let's say we go to the mall, we go somewhere, and there's like girls that dress in God, and like Ramon, you kind of went through a God phase yourself, and it's just like most guys, I feel like they will be like, let's say like I wasn't a God. Like I didn't dress in black. I didn't do all these like crazy stuff like when I was like, a teenager or even in my early 20s. But I feel like most people in general, like I'm talking about guys in general, do find like these kind of girls that dress differently, have a different kind of attitude to them, attractive. I just think that most guys, just like in this episode, they're scared to say like, hey, I want to get to know a person like that because they're more intimidated by the way they look than actually like anything else. Like I honestly God felt like I wish in the past when I was younger, I would have been able to go up to some of these girls and be like, hey, I really like your style. Doesn't mean I want to specifically like start dressing like, like them or whatever, but I feel like I missed opportunities just by being scared. So it's just kind of like, I just feel like everybody out there just has this fear, because these girls have like such confidence. And I think that's what you could say. Like maybe in the beginning she didn't have confidence, but I think definitely now when you see her, she just has such confidence in herself. Like no guy could ever talk to her again because I don't think she would at all like be have like feelings of like, oh, this guy talked to me in a way where I feel rejected. Like I think she's way past that.
Well, that's how you could tell the difference between adults and kids, man. Because like, people who are hung up on appearances with like fits, with styles, like that's, we all know by this point, in general, just through whatever age you are, if you've taken enough time to talk to anybody, it's all about their personality. And clearly with the love Hashira, obviously, even though she is beautiful and she's really like in that, beyond strong, and that makes her even more attractive. It's not even about that, right? Like the whole point that we're learning in this episode is that she's a very loving person, right? Because clearly starts with
she has pink hair.
Oh my goodness, what am I gonna do?
Oh my god,
that's the only thing that matters, the color of the hair.
It's so dumb. I think that was really frustrating, and it's funny that we're getting hung up on this, but
only somebody like Sasuke could definitely fall in love with her.
And even he's reluctant, so clearly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the reason why her hair is like pink and green is because of Sakura rice cake. So, kind of funny.
Is it because the mom ate too many, or it's just,
no, because she just liked eating them. And like in the very, very last bit of the episode, it says that she ate 170 Sakura rice cakes one a day for 8 months.
Oh my god!
So it's
what
like
an incredible woman.
It's like see, that's another thing we haven't gotten to, her ability to eat. Oh man, yes, that's my favorite thing to do in life. Anywhere I travel, anywhere I'm at, if we're not eating, we're not happy. So anyway,
because in that flashback too, like when she was like small, like she picked up that stone or whatever. She had like black or brown hair or whatever. She didn't have the colored hair yet. It wasn't until later. So she probably. But she already had the appetite and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the point that you were saying, so the big thing was through the whole flashback and then later on is that her body type is unassuming, right? Because she doesn't look like muscular, she's not like big or anything like that. Well, she said that in the flashback right away, right? She seemed weak since she was little, but yes, at 14 months, she picked up that 33 pound like little stone. And again, 14 months, that's a year and 2 months if I took math in high school. But yeah, I did. And so, So clearly at 14 months, she has this ability, right? So going back to the whole, like, how does she have this ability if her parents don't seem to have any kind of abilities, right? So My Hero Academia all over again, there is some random trait that allows some of these like humans to kind of have something extraordinary about them. And, maybe they're just all blessed with some weird genetic form from their ancestors like Tanjiro. But anyway, so that was like the thing is that she even said it, she was like holding her little arms and she's like, I had no muscles, but yet I was like really strong. So there was something about that, about her not ever being like bigger or stronger, but just still being as strong.
I kind of wanted to call BS when she was arm wrestling these sumo wrestlers and actually I could understand maybe the eating like more than them. Like I'm like, okay, they established that, but the whole like being able to beat them, like at that point, it does tell me though that the parents sort of messed up because they should have acknowledged like my little girl is going to be something so great. Like, there's no reason why she should be begging people for like marriage, for a marriage arrangement. Like, there's no reason for that.
But she wanted it though. Like, she brought up, like, even when she was little, about being a wife and getting married. And they kind of brushed it off. Like, you don't have to get married. You can live here forever.
Yeah, her dad said that. Her dad said that when she woke up in the middle of the night, and she's just like, she's a little older at this point, and I think it was after the rejection, maybe. And she's just sitting there like, oh, like, what's going to happen? Like, why does everyone not want me? Why don't people like me? And then, even her dad's like, what are you talking about? Like, go to sleep. Like, if anything, you can live with us forever. Kind of a joke, but I'm glad she didn't choose to, because she's clearly a badass demon slayer. So I don't know, but then I don't just. After that, let's go to that scene with the Hashira master. That's a little later. That's the second flashback later on. Yeah.
Well, like she changed. You kind of get that scene where like she changes her hair color, and she's finally somebody accepts her like marriage proposal, to getting into an arrangement with her. And honestly, God, dude, I feel like I know the guy never spoke and they never had any kind of conversation, but even that dude, he looked like a cool guy, man. I feel like if she would have just been honest, he might have accepted her, man. Like, he might have just been like this really guy that like saw more than just like this quiet young girl. He maybe even could because I feel like somebody like that just brings a feeling into your life, whether you're walking with her or just going in a room with her. Like, she just has this presence that I think it's impossible to hide. So I feel like that guy knew something about her. So I feel like that guy really missed out on an opportunity to marry this like really great girl. Not because it was his fault, more because she felt like she had to hide who she really was. At least that was kind of like my take on it. But again, I'm kind of overreaching because that guy didn't say nothing. He just looked like a cool, understanding dude.
But she's the one that said it, though.
You're projecting because you want to marry her. You think that you're that cool guy that could accept her for who she is.
And just because we didn't see her saying like, oh, like, or something like the failed attempt, you're probably in your head. You're the side guy, that's you.
Bro, who can see into like my soul? Like, I just know.
No, but I mean, I guess you're right. But it's weird because they never show that the end of that like little situation right there. She just kind of said she did have that whole thought in the back of her head. It's like, wait, but this is not going to be me. This is not going to be myself. I'm going to have to hide it. And not clearly, she wasn't happy with that because then at some point she left to go join the Demon Slayers, and there we go. But then I think after that is when we bounce back to current state and they're fighting, right? And I think at this point is where,
Well, I mean, when she's talking to the master that, like we talked about it, how like he like has these encouraging words towards her about like, hey, everybody's just kind of like been jealous of you and they're really intimidated by you, but they all wish they could be you, man. And like, you kind of get an understanding of why every one of these Hashiras will follow the master, like no matter what, just because he's like the dad she had a really great dad, but he's just like this person that's able to tell you everything you want to hear or be able to guide you if you're lost or really put a purpose in your life. So like, it's just another like reason why you get to understand why the master is so important to these Hashiras.
Yeah. I wonder if the master is like the therapist Hashira, and that's why everybody follows him, because he helps him be better.
I mean, so far, that's all I hear him doing. But no, you're right. I mean, because the words of encouragement that he was giving her seems to have become her philosophy, right? Because at this point, like, all she seems to be is all about love, right? And she clearly loved her family. She wants to be loved, but clearly she knows that it's beyond that it's just like she has to be herself in order to be truly happy. And if men aren't going to accept her, and that's still part of her dream, then she just needs to seek other things. So like a bigger family with the Demon Slayers, which later she seems very grateful to be part of it. But I mean, it goes to that part where like she's still like sitting there like freaking eyes rolled back, like, kind of really defeated. And that's when the whole team, her new family, just runs over there and goes and like hugs her and grabs her, and they're there to save her. And like, holy crap, I love those guys, man. Like, I was like, group hug, let's go.
Hey, Ramon, I'm gonna take right now just an opportunity before we kind of talk about the second part of the episode, but I want to tell people about our announcement that we're gonna like talk about for next Sunday for the final episode. So the final episode, we found out it's gonna be 70 minutes long, and dude, I cannot wait for that, because that's gonna be like 3 episodes pretty much in these 70 minutes, and we're gonna get so much craziness. So like,
it's gonna be like 7 episodes.
It's gonna seem like all the episodes. Bro, we haven't told you this, Ro, but we're gonna try to do a live recording on YouTube of us watching the episode live when it airs. So if you want to see us possibly together. We're going to figure it out. Don't worry about the details. But next Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be on YouTube Live, like watching the episode together. Or we'll figure it out. We'll make some kind of announcement, but be on the lookout for that. And, you'll hear all of our reactions because, man, dude, I'm going to be drinking like 5 Red Bulls before we go into that live recording.
But definitely details to come. So it'll be exciting. It'll be some fun times.
Yeah. And then just real quick, if you're not hitting the 5 stars or subscribing, like, please do that. Like, why are you not doing that? We have a lot of great things to say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Which, with great things to say, let's continue with Tanjiro, right? He definitely at that moment where he's embracing her, he's like, we have to save her. She has the most potential. She's our ray of hope. Right? And I think that's when the freaking Mitsuri starts bawling because she's just, these guys love me. I love them. Like, I'm going to do everything in my power. They believe in me. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect them. Like, man, so it was just beautiful. Because then after that, she goes ham and, continues to kick some more booty. Because
she blocks a lightning attack, right? Like, she's able to, they don't show it, but she blocks it.
Yeah, it's kind of like this giant, I think it was more than just lightning. I think it was multiple things that all kind of like coming down at once. And then she just like, Frank the Tanks it from out of the way.
And then she's just like yelling like out loud. It's still in that pose of just like finally whipping that sword around, just yelling like how grateful like she is for them and how happy and she's gonna do everything in her power to protect them. But I don't know, very very powerful scenes, man. For her coming in at the very end, like she's just doing a whole lot to like really get us really like emotional about that relationship, and just to know, man, that like Tanjiro and team like truly appreciate her, and she's like clearly really strong, really amazing, and she's clearly handling that 4th upper moon really easily. Like at this point, that's kind of nice. But you know what I didn't appreciate, and it comes up soon, is that we already have demons in this show, and we can't call those dragons. They're calling them lizards, and that I didn't like that. They do both the 4th upper moon, and then eventually I think she even called them. There was like, oh yeah, my lizards, and I'm like, lizards, oh lame. I'm like, I'm better as dragons.
I think most of the time I'm just so distracted by like all the heads and like what she's doing and like what am I, if I blink for a second, I'm going to miss something incredible. Cause I think I was pressing like the 10-second rewind on my phone, like constantly throughout this whole episode, man, like towards the end, especially.
Yeah.
No, the thing that I like about her is that she's kind of trying to like undo the misconception, because I think there's a whole like trope or this whole idea that like women can't be strong or whatever because then they're not desirable or whatever, which is totally not the case. And I think it's kind of like her whole role is to kind of reshape that thought, because that was her issue, is that she was too strong, she was too different, she ate too much or whatever. So that's why nobody wanted to marry her. But like now she is strong, she eats a ton, but she's protecting the people that she cares about or whatever. So I don't know. I thought it's a cool concept to have, especially in an anime that a bunch of young to older-ish men / boys watch. So I think it's an important thing to have an anime.
Yeah, like my thought, like I see a lot of, for Halloween, I always see so many Nezukos, and I'm talking about like little kids, like, parents are walking around with like their 6-year-olds dressed as Nezuko, and I'm like, man, like, do those 6-year-olds really understand like the character? But, as a father myself, like, it's a demon, exactly. But, me as a father, I could totally see this upcoming Halloween, like if I see a really cute love Hashira, like, even though my daughter probably has no idea what this character is, like, I could see myself like dressing her up as a little miniature, like, love Hashira. That would be freaking cute. Like, I think this character is going to be very popular at Comic-Cons, Halloween, because it's a different side of a woman that you don't get to see. A lot of times, sadly, in anime, like women just get sexualized. Here she is a little bit being sexualized with her appearance, and obviously the introduction, her being like naked, which I still feel like we didn't need, and a lot of people were asking for that shot specifically. But I feel like, yes, like feel free to dress up my daughter as this character, because overall, like what she stands for, I really, really love it.
I don't know.
I totally agree.
Rowan, if you want to dress up your little boy, your son as the love Hashira, totally up to you, man. Also, I would not.
Or if you want to dress like the Hashira, Raul, do you want to be the love Hashira?
Well, I don't have the hair for it, but I guess I could figure something out.
It's called a wig, Raul. It's okay. I got you.
I know, but then the beard, I would have to shave it off, and I haven't done that since the military days.
Hey, there's all kinds of love Hashiras. You can be the bearded one.
I like that, man. I had to do a little bit of that. Did you guys enjoy the little, like, part of the flashback where the snake Hashira is actually the one who gives her the socks? And
is that a thing?
Is that a thing? Yeah, that's my question.
I didn't mean to do this.
Okay, what are we, like 5 years old? Is that no? But yeah, no, absolutely right, because they had the little like flashback and it was kind of cute. Like they're both sitting there at a restaurant, and then the freaking snake Hashira. He just sits there and he's like, oh, here's a present for you. And it's the striped socks that she so wears, right? And then she's like all excited, all giddy. And she's like, for me and all this stuff. And then he just like turns around. He's like, and like, yeah.
Well, you guys know that I hate the snake Hashira and I hate his.
Now I know why.
his Foot Locker outfit. And going back to my thing about like emo
his
people and like
his
Foot Locker outfit. And going back to my thing about like emo and not approaching girls, I feel like the snake Hashira was that guy that had the balls to go up to the emo girl, and next thing you know, like he's dating her, and you're like, why is that dude dating her? Only because he was had the balls to like go and just say hi to her, even though you know that guy's totally wrong for her. So it's like, yeah, like I hate the snake Hashira.
But also
we're projecting all over again,
right?
I'm projecting.
I'm like because truly we don't know anything about him, so it's like where's all this coming from, Carlos? Where is this all coming from?
I know that he has a stupid face.
Are you just jealous because you can provide her with a lifetime supply of socks and you maybe can't? Because that was pretty cool too, though, right?
I worked at Journey, so I was constantly being told to push those damn socks.
See, so maybe that's what you should be projecting as, not the other guy that clearly she didn't marry. You should probably try to go for the freaking snake Hashira. Maybe a little bit more hope there. But no, that was pretty cool though. He was just like, yeah, and if you rip him, I'll gift you another one. So it's like, you know, clearly he has a thing for her. Because like, who's gonna supply my girl over here with like infinite supply of freaking like socks? But I mean, they look good.
Hashira, and you know they're gonna go through a lot of socks.
Yeah, exactly. So and who makes those socks though? Because if you can get those like lifetime supply, isn't the snake? Is he like having the snake do some like child labor type of thing, like snake labor, making like little socks on the side? Because I don't know, man.
Or maybe when the snake sheds, he's making it out of that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I never really like questioned whether these guys were getting paid or not, but I mean, like, I have to assume that they're getting some kind of like money from the Demon Corps for like doing their shit. So like, yeah, maybe he has the money to like spend on whatever he wants.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good question. I feel like maybe they've mentioned that
they get paid.
Yeah, I think maybe they do mention that they get paid.
It's like, what's the retirement look like? It's like, well, if you make it past 30, you're good.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Akatsuki, because the Akatsuki were definitely very money hungry for them having an ultimate like goal of like the Tsukuyomi, the infinite Tsukuyomi. I'm like, what? Yeah. I mean, well, I guess they were being lied to about that too. Anyways, but yeah, money hungry.
It's kind of like the Avengers with when the Falcon
they don't get paid.
The Winter Soldier. No, yeah. Because when the Falcon was over there trying to get a loan with his sister, like they were asking about it, like, so how do you get paid? Like, does Tony Stark have some sort of fund or something? Or and then like I honestly they weren't getting necessarily paid. They just kind of did it, and then probably just promoted about stuff.
The idea that Falcon couldn't get a fucking loan, that's fucking ridiculous.
I know.
Sam couldn't get a loan.
Yeah. Sam also,
Anyways, I hope the Demon Slayers start freaking getting paid, because man, the amount of work they're putting in right now, especially with the fourth upper moon, like, oh man.
Yeah.
And we haven't even seen these guys.
Like Ramon, you haven't seen Black Clover, but in that show they established right away that they get paid because the main character is always sending money back home. So it's like, I like when shows establish like, hey, you're getting rewarded in some kind of way for almost getting killed.
I know I said the Akatsuki, but even in Naruto, all the shinobi, all the hidden leaf shinobi get paid. Like they all get paid because
depending on the missions that they go on.
Freaking Naruto's little froggy coin purse keeps getting like bigger and bigger all the time until he gets hungry, and then he empties that account. But no, I mean, what happens next? Oh my god! So I think one of the next scenes too, that was another really exciting moment for me too, is that you finally see her little mark. You see, like, I think he's fighting her. All of a sudden, she's like doing all these crazy acrobatics on the lizard dragons that she's fighting. And he's just like, oh my God, like, where did she get this power? Like, 1 second she didn't have it. Now she's kicking my ass. Like, what's going on? And then there's a moment where she stops and he's like, what is that mark? Right? And then he calls it the demon crest. And I meant to ask you, like, well, what's up with that? Because he called it a demon crest. And so far, we haven't heard that in any of the episodes in the past. Like, we've just been calling it, like, the mark, a birthmark, like, Flair, like, ate too many burritos, didn't wipe the sauce type of mark.
What?
It looked like a butterfly, didn't it?
Yeah, hers was so specific looking that it was kind of weird. And just the fact that she got it on her neck like a hickey, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
No, it was around here, wasn't it?
What's that?
Yeah, it's like on her right here in the middle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Carlos, where's your eyes going, man? But even Muichiro's was a cloud, and Tanjiro's is flames. So it's like, I mean, maybe they all, but it's another thing, right? So he called it a demon crest. So there has to be some way that they're like interconnected by demons already, or maybe it's just something that obviously, again, as we kind of all go through this adventure together, and for those that haven't read the manga, like I'm excited to find that stuff out, man, because you got to explain to me why he called it a demon crest. We still don't even know what it is. It seems like they don't even know they have that ability until like they get to that moment. Yeah, because
Did Rengoku or Tengen have one? Because I don't remember them having one. I guess
not. Well, no, we talked about how Rengoku wasn't lucky enough to get it. And I thought Tengen had gotten one, but I guess he also didn't get it. Like, Tokido was the first one, and then now we have the Love Hashira. So it's starting to spread. Starting to spread like COVID.
Maybe just like an upper level thing, because I kind of get a feeling then that Rengoku was kind of newer to being a Hashira, maybe, and Tengen he said that he was like one of the weaker Hashira, so maybe that had to do with it, possibly.
I don't know. Rengoku, man, he was like, I don't know. I don't think he was the newer guy, but that's because like he came from a family. Like his dad was a previous Flame Hashira, and new or not, dude, that dude could fuck. That dude could kill you. He almost took on Akasa by himself. Like I know Tokido was able to kill like the fifth one, Gyoko, which I said I would never say his name again, but like I do feel like Rengoku would have also been able to handle Gyoko and this upper four moon by himself, because that was how like motivated he was without a flame mark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you just mentioned the whole freaking Tokito and his fight with Gyoko, like I've been more impressed with freaking Mitsuri, the Love Hashira, fighting way more impressive than freaking Muichiro, right? Like I feel like her not necessarily her abilities, because I do like his mist forms, I do like his ability to produce actual mist, but I just think that the
seventh form.
Yeah. Wait, which one's that one? Oh, the one that's actually
where, like, he obscures everything and that's probably the best one.
Yeah, but with her, it's also about skill, because that freaking sword whip, can you imagine? Like, if you try to do that, man, you would cut yourself. Like,
well, I guess I never put a lot into it, but like just the fact that they have these different weapons, like even Tengen, like so cool, just because he had these, like, I don't know what to even call them, but like these dual knives to separate or whatever. Like they're not nunchucks, but yeah, they were so freaking cool, man. And I guess like when you're animating, that looks super cool. Same with her sword, it's gonna look super cool. Where like, I mean, Tanjiro had that crazy move that he did. So I don't know, man. I'm really hoping that the next episode is gonna deliver some mad, crazy movie quality animation. The thing that I wanted to ask you guys, did any of you feel pity for the little demon again? Like this time, like I felt like this time I felt like I started feeling pity for him, man.
Well, because he had the whole thing about how like everyone calls me a liar, and then whoever that random dude was that in his flashback that was like, "Oh, you shameless liar," and then he's like, "I've never lied. I've never been." I'm like, dude, I'm like, who cares? You're a demon. You're trying to kill everybody. Like, you know, I don't think that's the flashback we want for him. And in a sense, like, I hope we get more than that in a weird way. Because for him being so strong and so crazy, that's not enough. I don't feel pity just off of that little bit of moment. I kind of get him a little bit more, right? Like, because of the whole fact that he thinks that, all right, maybe he's just been under the impression that he is considered a liar by some, maybe people that are very significant to his past. And just the fact that he's like, oh, I've never lied before. That sucks, man. Of course, if you're portrayed as someone you're not, or like some characteristic that it's not truly you, but that's your reputation, super sucks. But I still don't feel pity for him because he's a demon. He knows what he's doing now. But again, if you give me a different flashback in the next episode, explaining a little bit better what about him and why he's called a liar, maybe then we could talk. But
I kind of have a feeling that they are going to do a flashback, and it's going to be one of those crazy things where he gets accused of doing something that he didn't really do, and then he ends up being like chased or beat up or whatever, and then that's kind of what causes the fear thing, and then he gets like done so badly that he kind of sticks to his guns and like, no, I didn't lie, I didn't do this or whatever, and then that's kind of where all these emotions kind of come from, either through that process or something like that.
No, I think you're right, because I think even like the way he looks as a demon with that ball, you were kind of like referencing, Ramon. I feel like that is how he's going to probably look as a human. He's probably going to have like some kind of deform a little, or like maybe, just he's like, what is it, Hunchback of Notre Dame, where like people are going to blame him just because of the way he looks. But that was even kind of the case with the Upper Six, right? Like he was kind of like also very skinny and dirty and ugly. But he was more of a badass, so I don't know. We'll see what we get with this guy.
Yeah, and then he did get, no, that's a whole different story. But no, I mean, and then, that's when you get that next part where, they all start trying to get the little fear demon, right? And then there's the scene where, like, they're trying to split him apart from the encase or the cocoon that they build with the wood. And that's when you have Genya sitting there biting that piece. And which, again, we already went over that, so we don't need to go over that. But yeah, he goes and it's crazy biting, and even Tanjiro's like, what are you doing? Like, you're biting the freaking wood. And then
next thing you know, indigestion.
You're going to get a splinter. You're going to get a splinter, bro. Like, it's not a toothpick yet. You got to wait till after you. Then it's a toothpick. But yeah, then he splits it up. And then, that's what and that's exactly. Nezuko goes, does something. And then even Tanjiro does this,
she splashes blood. Yeah, she splashes blood from like a distance.
Yeah. And then freaking Tanjiro does this freaking crazy flaming, flame breathing or sun breathing form. And, slices it in half, which then the fear demon is not in there. And he's already running around. And that's when you get that little bit of flashback. Yeah. But I don't know. Oh, yeah. And then you have Genya, freaking crazy, powerful, crazy dude, pulls that tree, uproots that tree, and then, like, sits there and smacks it. Like, I don't know. Just the whole end, the way it ends, man. I'm so ready to just roll into the next episode and, like, I don't know.
Definitely Genya's like on a high right now with, his like upper moon, getting that strength from him. Dude, I like characters. Like I really do like Nezuko's blood art, like just the things that she can do with it, heal and, splatter it or just like inflame it so that it can like, demons can get burned by it. Ramon, I know this is probably like way down the list, but there's a show called Soul Eater. And in that show, there's a character that her body itself, like her blood, like if you think about it, like, the whole reason you would stab somebody so they could bleed out, like there's a character where like if you stab her blood is almost like a Venom situation where like she can like immediately like clog that stab wound. So just any idea, anytime you have a character that has any kind of like blood manipulation, like even Power from like Chainsaw Man, like
Power.
Yeah, like
or
it's so
Jujutsu
cool, man.
Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen, is there anybody with blood? Oh yeah, there is. Oh, I haven't gotten that. I'm on episode like 15, 16. I think that's the next one. But yeah, even that guy has like blood stuff, man. So it's like, like that's a really cool power to have.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the guy that at least can boil and heat up or freeze like blood. I mean, that's not really a blood power, but there you go. You got your blood bending. I mean, but it's a crazy ability, man. I think that we talked about that before. Like, I guess more in Avatar. I think that's where they really, Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's where they really hit at the point that, like, that's such a fucked up ability to have that if truly you had it, it would be forbidden to use because can you imagine how strong you would be if you consider, like, sit there and point at somebody and you just disintegrate their blood or you boil it or you freeze it, like, just like in Full Metal Alchemist. You make them your puppet. Like it's just it's messed up because your whole body's lined up with veins and arteries and stuff, and you're like blood all over your body. So it's like it's kind of almost like unfair. That's almost like saying controlling water. The blood bending, but controlling water inside your body, and it's just I don't know. It's just crazy. But these guys with the blood ability, Nezuko's at least,
Something that just made me laugh real quick. I just thought about like how Power, if she used too much of her blood, she would pass out. It was like a nice touch, like you don't expect that from a demon to like pass out from using her own blood.
But it's true though. Yeah.
But
it makes sense. Yeah.
Even freaking Chainsaw Man when he was fighting in the freaking hotel room or in the hotel lobby, and he's like eventually losing power, but he's just consuming blood, but consuming blood as he's going.
But Power is the blood demon, though. Like, she is the blood demon.
Blood devil,
The blood devil, sorry. That's a different show. But I'm here for the next episode, man. I don't know how we're going to work out this whole live watch. And then I don't know if we'll eventually be able to talk about the show, that same night. But it's going to be great, man. I'm really thinking we're going to go out with a bang, and I just can't wait for it.
Yeah.
I definitely have. I'm optimistic about it, specifically because of the fact that it's a longer episode, so it definitely should be better.
I just want to see the team unite in its entirety, right? Like I want to see Muichiro join them too, like because Kyoko's out of here. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if they show up for the last episode, man,
oh god,
I'd be crying. I'd be like this.
Guys, be here. Watch the show live, because if Inosuke shows up, I guarantee you Ramon's pants will explode. just like my pants will explode if Senetsu shows up and it's like sleep mode right away.
He's like, I'm here.
I bet you that what they're gonna do is they're gonna go through like the whole episode, and then at the end of it, like once like everyone's dead and everything's done, that's when they show up, and he's like ready to like fight, and then the other dude's like scared behind him.
Thank God there's no trailer for like next episode, like to hint you at it, because like that would be all over the trailer, it.
Yeah,
we're just giving it away.
I almost kind of wish there was like a death, and I know it's sad to say, but I'm like, I wish there was like some kind of death that I could be like, guys, who do you think is going to die next episode? But at this point, it's pretty much done with, right? Like we're already almost done with the fight.
You take those words back, Ramon. You take that back right now.
What do I know that you know, but I don't know. But I'm excited.
Well, again, hopefully you guys have been listening, and again, if you're not following us, make sure you're following us, because we're everywhere. So it was great talking to you guys. I'll talk to you guys next Sunday. Have a good night. Carlos, peace.
Dios.